Welcome back to another episode of the Offside Zone. We're back here with season two, of course, and this is episode 6. And there's been some interesting things going on in the football world these days, so we're gonna dive right into it. But before that, my bad, we got here Oswald, we got Sam in the building, we got Cliff in the building, and we hosting today Toby. You already know. So we're gonna go into the first question, and we're gonna talk about the mighty Arsenal. So, what is the issue with Arsenal this season, or at least lately? So, I'm gonna let Cliff start with that
Yeah, I think the problem is creativity. I think Arsenal has become predictable. And it's sad to say because they were so good last season. They had their run. I give it to them. I give them that. But we all knew this was coming, right? We all knew this was coming. the thing is, like, I think Arteta actually saw this coming because um, the move for getting Havertz was because they needed a different option. I feel like Arsenal, the only way they're really beating teams is when they're clicking on all cylinders. It's either, Odegaard gives you magic, Saka gives you magic, but over time, it's not conducive to keep on relying on these type of guys, every single week. So I think what's really happened is Arsenal isn't finding a different way to beat you. And that's fine when you have a striker up top that can just give you goals, a steady amount of goals every week, week to week. But if you don't have a Haaland up top, or if you don't have a steady striker or like a Salah up top to give you the 30 goals a season or 25 goals a season, then you don't really have, that flexibility to not be creative every week. So I think that's where Arsenal is. They're just stale right now. They're too predictable, and they need either a creative option or to find a system or a guy that gives them a reliable amount of goals.
one. Okay, that's a fair take. All right, Oswald, go ahead. Let's get your opinion.
Arsenal. Mighty all Arsenal. I'm sorry, but they do this every year. Well, as of recent, they've had good form with Arteta transforming the team into the team that they are. But we all know at the end of the day, they always fall. They always fold. Uh,
But
they're known for being bottle jobs too. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But y'all are serial number fours, always falling in fourth position. And I think that's the position Arsenal is going to finish this season. And I also believe that the players are also fatigued. They've been playing what 50, like about 60 games a season, and then they don't really have a big squad like a team like Man City um, or a Liverpool. So just playing people like Saka, Odegaard, and Martinelli, they need rest. They need to take some breaks from time to time so that they can, be fresh for the big games. But they don't have the talent on the bench, unfortunately. And and that's my take on it.
Okay, Sam.
Yeah, I agree basically with what Oswald said. I think right now we're seeing the lack of depth that Arsenal has as a club. They got a top heavy club. When you look at the starting lineup, they're a good team, but we've seen Saka and Martinelli have not been in form for a good portion of this season, and it's clearly because of the the fatigue. They're playing every game. There's no rest, and there's no other options really. Who else are you going to put out on the wing for Saka that's going to bring the same impact? That's the problem that you have when you have a small squad, and I think you got to question Arteta's recruiting and scouting over the winter or over the summer because it comes back to the coach at the end of the day. You're supposed to bring in players that are going to be able to hold the other player, the starters, their feet to the fire. You know what I'm saying? Like you need other players to test and push the starters. And if you don't have that, one, the starters are going to get complacent, and two, they're going to be tired all the time because there's no competition. So
Yep.
I think a portion of the blame goes to Arteta too. You know, he brought in Havertz and Timber, but you know, like where's the replacement for Saka when they need it? You know, so I think the lack of squad depth, fatigue, you know, and yeah, lack of creativity is hurting Arsenal right now.
Yeah. I mean, those are all good points. I actually agree with all y'all, to be honest. Everybody has shared their nice little fair opinion on the Arsenal. But I think in multitude, it's a bunch of different factors when it comes to Arsenal as of late. I think they did a great job, which I want to point out. I think they've done a great job to not make it look so glaring that there are problems that um, should be more seen. You feel me? Like the good start that we had, the comeback games that we had, a couple of them, it made it seem like okay, we get here. Just like let it be known, like we were on top of the tree at Christmas. You feel me? So we had a happy Christmas. We were on top of it. We had a hey, let's relax
Christmas
here.
Day trophy.
I'm not here to do excuses. I'm here to just speak my own opinion about my team. So we were on top of the tree at Christmas, and we had a horrible New Year's. And I would say, if I'm critical, probably the last 7-8 games, we've been out of form for sure. Like it's been at least more glaring. I know the issues has been there since. Personally, I think since the Timber and Partey injury, I actually think Arteta they did pretty good with the transfers. Now, if I'm being critical, right? If I'm being critical, you look at the Timber injury and you look at the Partey injury. Those are the two biggest issues that we have when it comes to creativity, when it comes to work, when it comes to being able to just pass the ball around as we know Arsenal is. And I'm not saying Declan Rice hasn't done a great job. He's done a fantastic job. He's probably been the best player in our squad this season. But at the end of the day, it's really just him doing all the work and then Odegaard doing all the work offensively. And if Odegaard doesn't click, then it's like nothing else clicks. So now you have a midfield that's discombobulated because of the injury of Partey and because of the injury of Timber. And then you have wingers who haven't been on form, specifically Martinelli. Now, Saka, as of late, he hasn't been on form, but I think that's ultimately down to the injury that he suffered recently. He has not been the same Saka that we know since Luton, and that's when he got that injury. Other than that, the brother got 21 goal contributions in 29 games. So it's not like his whole season's been bad. I think the last 8 games for him has been bad because he's actually playing with an injury. But that's just my opinion. So when you look at what Arteta really wanted to do, bringing in players this season, I don't think Havertz was brought there to play the number 8. And I'm gonna clarify that for everybody in here. What he wanted to do was bring in Timber that would allow Timber to play that pivot CDM role because Timber actually had the most progressive passes in Ajax last season. Like the brother can carry the ball, he can play midfield, and that would allow Havertz to play basically like at the top of a diamond so that he can hold the ball and pass it around. So Havertz was brought to bring flexibility rather than a direct replacement for Xhaka that left, the number 8. And if I'm being critical, that is the only point that I could sit here and say that was not good recruitment. The price wasn't good to me. And then to not bring in a direct replacement for Xhaka was just not a good deal. Because we really have no out and out number 8 in that team. There is no box to box guy that can chip in with goals, chip in with creativity, like Cliff mentioned, and also at least take some of the workload away from Declan Rice, and not bringing another winger in, and keeping Reece Nelson and saying he's good enough to compete with Saka and Martinelli. That was ridiculous. Those two things to me, if they get that right this January transfer window, there's still some type of hope we could do something. I'm not I'm not saying we're gonna win the league, but that needs to be addressed. I don't think we're gonna go out there and buy a striker, a Holland this January. It's just not possible. And there are not that many strikers better than Gabriel Jesus out there in the world. What they should have done was go and get a number 2 that we can rely on when Jesus is on the medical table. So maybe it was a shortage of money at that point, but I don't necessarily think the transfers were bad because he wasn't banking on the blockbuster injuries of Timber, specifically Timber. Obviously, Partey be in and out of the team, but Timber specifically, oh, that probably killed Arsenal in terms of flexibility and creativity and what Mikel Arteta really wanted to do this season. So again, I think of late everything that you guys said is correct. You could chop it up to fatigue. You could chop it up to depth. You could chop it up to transfer market, decisions. But injuries, you could chop it up to so many different things. But yeah, as you guys know, once we get back to full potential, it's a different story. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Late.
My question to you is, why didn't Arsenal sign Xhaka re-sign Xhaka, even though last season, this season in his Arsenal jersey?
He just wanted to go. Honestly, when you look at Arteta's system, like what we played last season, like Xhaka was perfect. He's actually come into his position as a player, and you can see that at Bayer Leverkusen. They haven't even lost a league game this year. So he actually has not lost since he's been at Bayer Leverkusen. He's the perfect number 8 box to box guy. We should have went out and bought a direct replacement for him, but Arteta he saw the opportunity with Timber and said, okay, let me bring in Havertz to bring some type of different flexibility in terms of attacking.
Yeah.
So
I think the Havertz move, in hindsight,
it made no sense.
It did more bad than good. I think what Arteta was trying to solve, he was trying to solve like 2 problems with one player. And I think more than fixing the front line, it kind of confused everyone. We still don't even know what Havertz is, bro. I don't even think Havertz knows what he is, bro. Even when he's playing, like he doesn't know whether to score or to pass.
Yeah.
So just him being in that front 4, whatever position he's playing, it just feels like it's kind of taking away from Saka and Odegaard. But then also, like we've mentioned before, they didn't bring in a direct replacement for Xhaka, and now it's kind of like a glaring hole, and that's what they need to fix during summer.
When you think about it, we have Fabio Silva as well, so I think they were counting they're like, they weren't penny pinching at all. I think it's just a matter of he trusted those players rather than going out there and say, okay, we directly need a number 8. And like I said, the injury to Timber is what will allow Havertz to really find his role in that team. And I really mean that, because Timber, to me, he would allow us to have a back 3 at any given point in time. And he would allow Havertz to get more up the field. And he would also be protection with Rice at the same time. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to have a diamond formation in the middle of the field where Havertz would be the guy to stick the ball to in the middle of the key. And even though it would look like a four in the back, a lot of times Timber would come in and play that bottom CDM role where Rice is. And Rice would go to the left, and then Havertz would shift to the top of the key or one or the other. So not having Timber the whole season has not having Timber and Partey the whole season has not allowed us to even see what Arteta was thinking with those signings. And that's honestly the truth to me. And I think ultimately, again, like if I'm being super critical, if this would have worked out, we wouldn't be saying nothing about it. Like if Havertz was scoring goals, he fit into the system, and Timber was there, this and that, Partey was there. He would always have something to at least fall back on, which is Partey. But they're both injured. Now we have a whole season where we've seen Havertz play a role that I don't think even Mikel Arteta had for him. So the only thing I don't even mind signing Havertz. That's my thing. I was pissed at it at first, but mainly I was pissed because we were spending $67 million on him. You feel me? And I feel like that signing, it was more so like the benefits could be really high if it's exactly what Mikel Arteta wanted from him, but the drawbacks from it are very big because you spent 67 million on a player that's not necessarily proven to everybody else that he can be him. You feel me? And then on top of that, he's coming from a rival club. So like the drawbacks were just too much, especially for 67 million. He should have been bought for like 25, 30 max. Then I wouldn't even be saying nothing about I wouldn't even care, to be honest. We should have signed a direct replacement for a number 8. We should have bought a number 2 to get rid of Nketiah. I love Edmund, but the brother is not good enough to be the deputy when Jesus is out. And then we should have signed another winger and let go of. I love Reece Nelson too, but he's not going to be making Saka compete his hardest. Like he's not somebody that's going to come into the game, and we've seen it before, but he's not going to somebody that's going to come into the game consistently and be like, okay, Saka, you're not playing that good, you can rest, or Saka, you're injured, you can rest. So,
another thing I'll say is there's not really a plethora of options, that you can bring in to a club like Arsenal that are willing to sit on the bench or be the secondary player to a Saka or Gabriel Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
You really think about it, there's not really that many players you can think about on the wing or up top that are going to come into the club and be comfortable playing second fiddle. Like, so, I mean,
I know who I would sign. I know who I would sign. I know who I would sign. I can tell you right now, and they probably would come to the club. You never know. But if it was me, Rides, if it was me, I would sign Nico Williams from Atletico Madrid. I mean, from Atletico Bilbao.
He's not
realistic.
I get it.
No.
I get it.
Not realistic.
He's young. The guy's young and he has a release clause, so it is realistic. Like you're saying that he can go to another big team, but again, people have stepping stones that they need to go to. And even with that being said, I don't think people that are real competitors, they're not going to go to a club and be like, oh, I can't take that position away from somebody else. Like, how are you going to expect to make it at teams like a Real Madrid or a Bayern or any other big club out there? It's just one thing that you have to do as a player. So if you think that you can't go to Arsenal and compete with Saka, then maybe you probably not the player for any big club anyways. You should probably stay at Atletico Bilbao. So with that being said, the brother got a release clause, and I think that would be a great signing. And I also think Frimpong as a right back would be a great signing as well. I think he would allow us to play a certain way as well. He also has a release clause. And I also think a direct number 8, that's out there that would be nice would be Goretzka. I see no problem with getting him either. Yeah.
You're not realistic.
I mean, listen, he's
It's not realistic. This isn't FIFA, bro.
Bro, it don't gotta Goretzka.
Hey.
Like what? We're talking like he's like
serial winner.
I'm not talking about Valverde or
Hey.
freaking like please. I'm
Nah,
talking about
but
Goretzka.
it's
Some
okay,
people might want a different challenge, bro. Like I don't know how many places that we've seen from other teams, whereas the player you'll say that he's gonna stay there forever. Why would he leave? And then he goes to a different situation. You look at Cole Palmer going to Chelsea this season. Riyad Mahrez was out of there. Pep Guardiola told him he could be next, and he said, "I'm gone." So I'm not using him as a prime example, but there are countless examples like that. Any of these players would love to play for Arsenal, bro. I'm just telling you the truth. You acted like I said I'm coming for De Jong or something. Who on tape said he would play for Arsenal? On tape.
Nah. Leon Goretzka, come on, bro.
Yeah.
If Goretzka leaves Bayern Munich, he's going to Real Madrid. That's the type of team he's going to.
That's not.
Yeah, he's going.
Goretzka's what, like 29?
That's what I mean. That's what I like. Where are you getting that from? Who is telling you this?
No, I'm saying if he leaves, he's not going to Arsenal. He's not stepping down.
Who's telling you? What?
I'm just telling you what happens, bro.
Who is telling you that, bro?
I'm not. You said what?
Who is telling you people that, bro? Like, why couldn't he go?
You have no actual
reason why he couldn't go to Arsenal, and that's my point. Like, we just hating at this point. You have no credible reason.
All right, man.
Like, you have nothing. Like, literally. What?
He's not going to.
Players usually don't step down from clubs like that, bro.
Okay, but we've seen
it. End of their career or something like that.
They don't need to be end of their career to play for Arsenal, bro. Just like it ain't nobody's end of their career if they don't play for Real Madrid or Barcelona. Like we've seen stars go from different clubs outside of those two all the time. It's really not that hard to think of.
Like as one of Bayern's top players.
One of Bayern's top players, it's possible, bro. We've seen situations where players at a top club like a Bayern have left and went to a worse situation. Not even a worse situation, but a different club. What are we talking about? We've seen Real Madrid. We've seen Casemiro go from Real Madrid to Man U just last year.
He was bored of winning.
Yeah.
Look at that. Like now we're gonna make excuses for them.
No, but he was also gonna get a huge payday though. The money they were giving him.
Who cares? We'll give him what he needs to get. I'm saying, what if Goretzka says, "Oh, I'm tired of winning at Bayern. I want a new challenge." That literally happens all the time. Like, what are we talking about, bro?
No, I don't know.
I said Goretzka. Man, I'm talking like I said.
I can see that.
I'm talking like I said Vinicius Jr. from Real Madrid. I said Goretzka. Like, relax.
Nah, that's not Arsenal caliber player for real. That's not Arsenal.
Bro, stop talking, bro.
That's not Arsenal caliber, bro. That's not who you can attract. Please. You can attract the little boys, bro. You can attract the players that's getting there. You can attract the Odegaard on his way out, bro. You know,
we can attract anybody that we want. You guys only attracting people that are free. So
hey, it's working. It's working.
It ain't
Cancelo.
working. We were just talking about firing Xavi last video. Hey, y'all go watch
that. Bro. For free? Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, for free because you can't afford it. Please.
Hey, it's working. They coming though. Willingly.
You were just saying Xavi should get fired last video. Hey. It's on tape.
I said Cancelo was great. I said Gundogan has been playing great. I like those players
right now, bro. Like I said,
hey, we getting them though.
Situations can call for anything. You don't know what Goretzka's thinking. You don't know what Kimmich is thinking. You don't know what anybody out there is thinking. I'm just telling you, because why would you leave Bayern Munich? Like for your hypotheticals, right? Why would you leave Bayern Munich and go to the raggedy case of Barcelona at the moment?
Because it's
Nothing.
Barcelona.
Nothing in the present time is telling you to go to Barcelona. Nothing.
And Barcelona's a bigger.
But it might be the will of the actual player to say, "Oh, I want to go here," and that's my point. You don't know these people, bruh. So when I say Goretzka, I shouldn't be hearing.
Wait.
So or something.
You were talking about Cancelo,
bro. The level of organized that Barca is right now is down. It's in the dirt.
Barcelona still has more full value than Arsenal, even being broke. They still
can have full value, but I'm just telling you, clearly it's based off the will of the player whether they want to go somewhere or not. So I'm not saying anything outlandish when I say Goretzka. Like, please.
Yeah, it's kind of outlandish, bro.
That wage bill at Barcelona is outlandish.
We bringing them boys in, man.
That wage bill at Barcelona is outlandish, Brody. Out here flying to Dallas in the middle of 12 a.m. just to play a friendly for some money. Don't make me like, please, bro. Let's not do this, bro. Let's not do this.
And they had,
bro, it's okay.
That played the day prior in the same game.
y'all are economical.
That was insane.
I like that for Arsenal.
Yeah, y'all are broke, bro. So
y'all
that's
are economical.
Y'all are tracking right now.
Y'all sign what makes sense. I get that. I like that for Arsenal. But let's be careful who we talking about.
Yeah, let's be real.
Leon Goretzka over
here. There are levels to it. There are levels.
There are levels, bro. It's called contracts and having available money.
I give y'all Frame Prong, bro. I give y'all Frame Prong. He would move.
We could get anybody that I just named. Literally, it's just the will of the player and a phone call away. For you guys, it's if the money's available. It's if they can afford to get the plane to Barcelona. It's a whole bunch of different things.
See, and even with Nico Williams,
look,
he wouldn't go to Arsenal to compete. He would go to Arsenal to start.
Yes, you could.
That's a different team. Barcelona. That's a different team. Barcelona and Arsenal. A player like him would go to Barcelona to compete. A player like that's not going to Arsenal.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
It makes sense. That doesn't make any sense.
Look at that. That doesn't make any sense.
There's levels to it, bro. There's levels.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's the club, bro. It's the club.
It's literally the will of the player. If he wants to go out and compete, any team that's going to come in there and say or give them an idea of what they want him to be on the team, it's based off of that. You're not in there when they're talking to them to persuade these players to go to certain places. That's how certain players end up on different teams. There are more teams in Real Madrid and Barcelona, bro. How do you think they end up on other teams? They talk to them, but the players.
But where are they starting from? What team are they starting from? How many minutes are they getting from the team?
And that will be
if a player is out of their way.
Recruiters. What are we talking about?
If the player is getting kicked out from Bayern or out of their way from Bayern, then yes, I give it to y'all.
There don't need to be a situation like that, bro. Stop it, bro.
Nah, it
just takes one phone call and a Thierry Henry appearance to be like, hey, come to this team. That's it. That's what happened, bro. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You just have to pitch to these players. You're telling me we can't get a Nico, bro. In fact, we're not even. I didn't even say anybody outlandish. That's how I know you people are tripping. When y'all can afford people that are more than 15 million, Barcelona, give me a call, bro.
Hey, we're still bringing them in though.
So yeah, for the free, we gonna move on though. We gonna move on though. We gonna move on, bro. All right. So we gonna go to the next question, right? Since you guys are talking about outlandish, which player do you think is the best in their position of all time that nobody else would agree with? I'm gonna start with this. Actually, I'm gonna say Carlos Tevez.
Ooh, great shout.
Yeah,
great shout.
I'm gonna say Carlos Tevez for many different reasons, right? when I first started watching Carlos Tevez, I was like, bro, how can this guy be a striker? Short guy, like Pitbull type of guy, you know? He works hard, but it's like, how could he be like that guy that is just like a elite striker? But to me, him playing that center forward role, to me, I was like, wow, this is probably one of the best to ever play this role in the sense that his stature is not like other traditional strikers, but he works hard, he gets his goals, and he connects play. And we seen it at Man City where it was like he was basically their Aguero before they got Aguero. You feel me? He was the guy that would get on the ball and magically win them the games. And he had a season at Man City. I was like, wow, this guy is crazy with it. Short guy, but he just made that striker center forward position his, just like the way Aguero is short and stocky. It's like I feel like he made that position his. Like that's the Carlos Tevez blueprint to me. And then on top of that, he went to Juventus and then did it again. So when I seen him at Juventus, I'm like, wow, Juventus got to the Champions League final twice because of him and some other cat, Perlo, Vidal, Pogba, you feel me? But Carlos Tevez was critical in that, and he was really shining out there. I think he might have been, I don't know, he might have got some nominees for Ballon d'Or, I don't know. But he was definitely one of the top players in that position, basically all those years Juve were cooking. So out of nowhere, he cooked in the Prem. He cooked for Man U. He has cooked for Man City. And he went to Juve and cooked. So I'm going to say Carlos Tevez. I'm going to let Oswald go.
I know I've already said this before. One of the most underrated players of all time and one of the most underrated players in our generation, Yaya Toure. I'm sorry.
I knew it.
I'm sorry.
No, you better say that, bro.
I'm sorry, but the guy was one of the best players in this generation. He's easily top 10 best midfielders that have come in this generation. We're talking about goals. We're talking about assists. We're talking about like running the game. We're talking about just bullying players on and off, playing center back, playing center defensive mid, playing attacking mid. The man was the most complete player of this generation.
Oh!
Who else is more complete than him? He was very fast. He was very strong, and he could finish.
He was a complete midfielder. I'll give you that.
He was the most complete player. He was the only player in this generation that I could say, wow, you could not push that man off the ball. Once he's running, you're wasting your time. You're literally wasting your time trying to push him off. We've never seen a midfielder. We've seen some midfielders that have scored plenty of goals, but we're talking about stats, though. I'm talking about like 2013, 2014 season. Everybody talks about that season. He's the only other midfielder that scored 20 goals in the Premier League besides Lampard and one player of the season. Come on, man. That season was one of the most insane seasons we've ever seen in our entire lives. And they don't talk about it much enough in the Premier League as one of the best midfielders of all time. I agree. I think his 2013 season was better than Frank Lampard. And I'm a Chelsea fan in terms of the importance of his team to his team. So hands down, Yaya Toure.
I gotta agree with that. I'm not gonna lie. I would even say that Pogba at his prime also is relatable to that Yaya Toure. If we're talking about complete midfielders in their prime,
he wasn't fast.
So
Pogba wasn't fast. He wasn't fast. Pogba had stride, but Yaya Toure has pace. For as big as he was much stronger.
I agree. I'm not saying who was better. I'm just saying when you look at complete midfielders, there's not many out of those two that we can say have the total package. Dribbling, shooting, strong on the ball.
And some of the goals that he scored,
Yeah,
in this world,
there's not many that we can have that's like can play both sides of the ball in their prime. I'm not talking about Pogba when he got lazy. I'm talking about Pogba in his actual prime.
So
that guy can do anything.
Let me ask this question. So are we like asking who was like the most underrated player in their position, or like we're saying they were the best at their position?
No, like just in your imaginative world, like in your imaginative world, like who do you think in their position doesn't get the love that they're supposed to, that you think should be considered the best in their position?
Yeah.
Like not necessarily underrated, because it might not be underrated to some people, but who do you think should get more love that should be considered the best in their position? I'm gonna throw another one out there actually.
Wait, hold on. Let's go around. Let's go around first.
We can go around, but I'm gonna toss one more because I know y'all not gonna see this person, bro. I was saying Radamel Falcao.
Nah, he was recognized. He was recognized at the time.
Nah, Falcao was.
He was recognized, but Falcao was one of my favorite strikers.
He had a few years.
Yeah,
he had a few years, but that brother was very much.
He finished pro starting 11 a couple times.
Yes, he has.
He wasn't underrated. No. The only thing was the injury after when he joined Monaco, but he was well rated. He was what.
I'm not talking about at the time. All these players that we're naming were rated at the time. I'm saying in general. You don't hear Falcao when we're talking about top elite strikers of ever. I
think he didn't do it long enough. I don't think
he did it. He did do it after 20. I think after 20.
Right now. He's still playing right now. I'm just saying,
top level
at his prime, he's probably like, I'll say top 10 strikers of all time at his prime. That Atletico Madrid striker, that prime Falcao.
Yeah, he was up there.
He was actually going crazy. That 2 years, he was actually, in fact, yeah. At his prime, in an imaginative world, I would say Falcao was a top 10 striker. Easily.
Oh yeah, you know. He won the PTT like 2 times in La Liga.
Go ahead, Cliff. Who's your pick, bro?
Yeah, this is gonna be a wild shout, but I would go for David Silva.
Okay.
I think David Silva.
I gotta go, bro. I'm leaving, bro.
I think David Silva. He's like, if you look up in the dictionary for attacking midfield, you'll see David Silva's face right next to the definition. I think he's the perfect number 10, like pure number 10 that I've watched.
That's crazy.
I think it's because the way I like, the whole Barcelona tiki-taka thing. I honestly compare David Silva to Iniesta if he could score and assist. Like if he had stats, Iniesta with stats. Like David Silva in that Manchester City team, that Manchester City with first league title that season with Aguero and company. But it's just something about watching David Silva. Like I feel like he has a different vision than anybody else on the pitch. Like he's just beautiful and he can score and he's pass first. Like he's just the perfect number 10 in my opinion.
Iniesta with stats is kind of crazy. I'm sorry.
That's what he is. He's just Iniesta with stats.
That's very crazy to me.
No, that's true though. Think about it though. It's just that Man City's team wasn't, as good.
It wasn't up to the level. And even when Pep joined and he started like offloading all these Man City players, like you could just pay attention to the players that he kept for a while. Like the David Silvas.
Nasri there for a while. Like that's his style of play.
Nasri?
Yeah, he kept Nasri there at some point. That's the style of players.
No,
Nah,
left
he
in
did not keep Nasri
2016
like
or
that.
2017.
He kept Nasri, and then he was like, Nasri, he got an
Nah.
argument with Nasri, and then he left. That's what happened.
He played. I think he
That's
played
the
like
style
half
of
a
players,
season.
bro.
Nah, he didn't keep Nasri. He didn't keep
He
Nasri.
did keep Nasri.
No, I think Nasri played half a season and then he left. He went out on loan.
He literally was playing Nasri. Then Nasri started an argument with Pep and said, "Don't talk to me like that." And then he left the club. That's the style of players.
Pep joined around like 2016.
What are we saying now for?
David
It's on tape. It's on tape.
David Silva was there since 20.
David Silva didn't leave until like 2019. 2020 season.
Yeah.
Like, that's the type of player that Pep loves. Just that, and I would just continue to say it. David, he's Iniesta with stats. It's just perfect play, perfect passing.
Yeah,
that's my guy. He's just beautiful to watch.
That's crazy.
David Silva was amazing, but he wasn't Iniesta level though. I'm sorry.
What are you saying?
I think so. I think so.
He wasn't the slightest bit Iniesta with stats.
Slightest bit is a reach.
He wasn't the slightest bit Iniesta with stats.
I mean, he was a graceful player. He wasn't Iniesta level.
He was a graceful player to me.
I think if you put David Silva on that team, and David Silva is actually like a kind of guy that I wanted in Barcelona for a long time. But if you put David Silva on that team, that Barcelona 2011 team, he could give you similar to what Iniesta could give you.
What?
Nah. Look, you gotta remember that all these players played together
on their national team.
David Silva could barely get a game.
Yeah, I mean, that was a hard team to get into.
Hold on. Look,
that was the best national team ever.
Let me look at.
I don't hold that against him.
Look at David Silva's stats for Spain versus Iniesta. Iniesta has 131 caps, 13 goals for Spain. Mm-hmm. David Silva has 125 caps, 35 goals for Spain.
Okay. What's
that
proof?
That's what I'm saying.
Think about it.
Literally, his contributions show up on the stat sheet more because he's closer to the goal, of course, but he's just beautiful.
You're comparing when you say they're beautiful, you're comparing their style of play. And I'm trying to tell you that what I've seen David Silva do, as silky as it is, as a little great because he's a small guy, it is not what Iniesta would do.
It's not.
Iniesta would take the ball from the other side, do 1-2, dribble the whole length to the other side, and then
David Silva could do that too.
David Silva,
I'm not. Look.
He's a connect player. He's a connect player, whereas he will keep the ball.
I mean, look, they're different. They're different positions, so I don't want to compare like apples to apples.
What you mean? But they're center attacking mids.
But Iniesta is more of a CM than a center attacking mid. He's not a pure number 10 like that. But yeah, David Silva could create. He could score. He's just beautiful.
Bro,
that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I don't agree with that one, bro.
Don't have to agree.
I could say only similarities between Silva and Iniesta is just that they can dribble in tight spaces. But besides that, Iniesta can run.
Even Silva's dribbling, it's not dazzling. It's not anywhere to the extent of an Iniesta.
Yeah,
like Iniesta is like a showman to some degree.
Yeah.
Like Silva was like, he's graceful with it. He'll keep the ball. And that's why I even brought up Nasri, because I said, okay, even Nasri, I would say he's more of a showman. But to me, like, they just kept the ball close to them. That's the type of player Pep Guardiola likes. They don't lose the ball. It's like a Bernardo Silva. You feel me? It's literally like a Bernardo Silva. Mm-hmm. To compare Bernardo Silva now, which is basically what I would say the regular David Silva is. To compare Bernardo Silva to Iniesta, would that not be crazy?
I'm not comparing them. I'm comparing David Silva. but the thing is, it's like he's more of a creative player. Like he affects, the goal scoring more. So I mean, hey,
Iniesta is a more creative player, bro. That is insane. He's
more directly involved in creating the actual goal, like assisting and scoring. That's what I'm saying. But hey, I'm not comparing. I know Iniesta is better than David Silva. But for me, if you talk about pure number 10s, there's no. I mean, I can't really think about any number 10 I take.
Well, you digging yourself a hole. We gonna let you.
I know.
Okay, who? Yeah, Sam, go ahead, buddy.
So my pick for this player is I'm gonna say Michael Owen.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah. I'm gonna say Michael Owen. I think as a striker in their prime, Michael Owen might have been one of the best to ever do it in his prime.
Oh my God.
Nah, in his prime.
Y'all be using this. Okay.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Oh my
God. We talking about a player that the only English player that in recent history that's won a Ballon d'Or. If not for the number of injuries that he had over the course of his career, we don't know what his trajectory would have been. Like Michael Owen at his peak was competing with Thierry Henry in his prime. They were going head to head. They were going back and forth. And this guy won the Ballon d'Or in the era with Zidane, Ronaldinho, Henry, the Brazilian Ronaldo, all those players in their prime. He was like that in his prime. Like, he was at his best. Michael Owen could score on anybody, and he was clutch. So I picked Michael Owen for that.
Man, that's a great shout. I definitely agree. But Michael Owen was one of those players. He just was just like just a joy to watch, bro. Because he was fast he was so quick. 10 yards, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time catching up to him. 10
that's
10
facts,
yards, you're done.
One of the quickest players, bro.
He was quick, bro. He was quick to leave his career too. Man.
Yeah, don't forget when he cooked Arsenal in the FA Cup final though.
That's cool. That's cool, bro. I mean, Michael Owen is a good shout. I get it. And he also has that kind of complex. You know, he's a short guy. Like you don't expect him to be a striker. Like to me, I would even compare him to like a Ian Wright. To me, who was like ridiculous for his size to score that many goals. So there's a lot of different reasons why Michael Owen won his Ballon d'Or that year. I'm not gonna, go too deep into it, but all I'm gonna say is he was very lucky to win that. He was a great player that season, but he was very lucky to win that. And after that, you know how his career went.
Yep. Joined Real Madrid.
And then what?
Injuries. That's it.
He got the injury bug.
Then he went to Man U.
Yeah, he went to Newcastle. Then went to Man U. Then
he was doing benchman.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the guy was already finished. He relied on pace.
He was dapping up the kit man on the bench. It was good, bro. We here again. Another Friday.
He was one of those players that just relied on pace. He wasn't like he wasn't a hold-up player. He wasn't one of those great team players, but he was a great individual player to watch.
So I have a question, right?
Yeah.
I have a question. Yeah. So are we taking if you say Michael Owen, right? Are we talking about because we named a couple of strikers? I think we named a couple of strikers. I should have also said Fernando Torres for him, but we named a couple of strikers, right? Okay. I'm not taking Michael Owen in this prime, even though he won the Ballon d'Or. Then I get that, but we've already established there's different reasons why you can win a Ballon d'Or at any given point in any year, right? Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm not taking Michael Owen over a prime Falcao, or I'm not taking a Michael Owen over a prime Carlos Tevez.
I am.
Have you watched Michael Owen?
Maybe Falcao, but Carlos Tevez?
Are you serious?
Carlos Tevez? One day when he literally took Juventus to that final Oh,
Nah, that Juventus team had a lot more than just Carlos
Whoa,
Tevez.
let's not.
I didn't say they didn't. I already established that. I said they had a Perlo. I said they had a Pogba. I said they had a Vidal. They had a great back line, a Bonucci.
Yeah, he didn't take them to no final, bro.
But Carlos Tevez was what turned their attack into glue, bro. Like he glued them. He was that guy there.
Nah, he wasn't the guy.
He was their guy.
The guy was Pirlo.
He was their guy that season for sure, without a doubt.
The guy was Pirlo.
Oh, okay, bro.
It was in between those.
Okay, bro. That's cap, but okay. Perlo, he did what he needed to do, just like everybody else there. Even at that time, we were saying Vidal was one of the top midfielders in the world. Exactly. I'm simply saying, in terms of attack, and even in terms of gluing all that together in terms of their attack, Carlos, you cannot put that team out there without a Carlos Tevez and his energy and his goals. Like, look at the run to that final. Carlos Tevez was coming in clutch, buddy. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Too. And on top of that, Carlos Tevez to me, yeah, like what in his prime?
Carlos Tevez was like
Michael Owen, bro. Michael Owen, just like how Oswald just said it, he relied on pace. I would see him not make a great touch, turn into space, he's gone, and he scored. That's what he'd be doing.
That's what excited the players at the
time. That's what he did.
Yeah,
but that doesn't last.
We're talking prime.
We're not talking about the course of their careers.
We're talking prime.
I'm not either. I'm just saying you can see once that move is out of the thing, it's over.
Okay, in terms of the pure,
when it's out of the picture though, when he had that.
In terms of pure finisher, Falcao, yes, but in terms of the player that will create all his chances and still finish, Michael Owen, and you need that.
What?
Like that, yeah.
Bro, Falcao would score out of nothing. He'll be chipping.
Falcao was a better finisher, yes.
He will chip the goalkeeper with his left foot. I've seen it.
I agree. I said finisher. I said he's the better finisher, but I'm talking about like a player that would create his own chances and also be able to finish. It's Owen.
I mean, that's like Mbappe. I know a lot of people that's even if they watch this, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, Michael Owen because he won the Ballon d'Or straight away, anyways. But I'm just seeing why his career got like that, and simply because like when you compare him to all the other strikers that we look at, like we look at the prime, like these guys, they did a little bit of everything. Like they were dribblers, they were speedsters, they were finishers too. Like you look at Michael Owen, that guy was a great finisher, and he was fast. He ain't dribbled past 3 people and score. He ain't like he would literally just. He would literally just.
That's what he was going for.
He's doing messy dribbles now.
Yes,
he's doing messy dribbles now, or is he just kicking and running?
At the time, he was kicking and running. That was his
that's not messy dribbles, bro.
Well, right now, you're talking about like. You talking about like the elegance of it. We're talking about who was clinical and efficient.
I know, but I'm telling you who I'm taking. I'm telling you why I'm taking the other people in their prime. I'm like, once you get to that echelon, it's like, okay, this is why I would take this person. Those other people in their prime, I feel like they did more in terms of their game. Like they can dribble, they can like Falcao, for example, he can dribble, hold the ball up, score with his head, left foot, right foot.
Yeah,
he can dribble past 3 players. Like Carlos Tevez, same thing.
Nah.
And that's my point.
Nah.
But that's just me personally. I know people are going to come in here and be like, Michael Owen for sure. He played for Man U. He played for Liverpool. And he won a Ballon d'Or. So they're definitely going to say him. I have no problem with that. But me, if we're picking a 3 right here, bring me Falcao. Bring me Falcao. But it's called, bro. We're going to move on to the last question, right? All right. Yeah. We know AFCON is upon us this weekend. It's hosted in the Ivory Coast, the Ivorian coast of Africa this year. Yeah. And, we already mentioned some of their greats, Yaya Toure, stars of the past for them. So, who do you think will be the star or MVP of this year's AFCON tournament? It ain't gonna be Zaha either because he's not going. So I got.
You said Zaha.
Yeah, he's
No,
not
not
going.
Salah.
See, I got to find somebody new.
Okay. Yeah. I'm over. Okay.
All right, we're gonna go with Sam. We're gonna go with Sam first, Mr. Ghana.
There's only one name. There's only one name, and you all know the name. It's Kudus, bruh. That's the most informed African player in the world right now. Is Kudus? Yes, it's
The
Kudus.
most informed African player in the world.
Yes, it's Kudus. Yeah, right now, yes. At the moment, I'm not saying he's the best African
I
player in
give
the
it to
world.
him.
I'm saying in form at the moment is,
No.
and I think he's gonna have a great tournament.
I'm gonna still give it to Osterman, bro. But go
Osimhen's
ahead,
better
Gabe.
than him, but Osimhen, Napoli's playing terribly right now.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different issue.
Yeah, but
I'm picking Kudus for the most informed player in the AFCON tournament. Yeah, it's gonna be Kudus Day, man. It's gonna be Kudus. I don't think Ghana will do that well, but yeah, it's gonna be Kudus, bro.
yeah, man, it might be the eggs talking. I don't know. I think it's Caduce, bro. But also, go ahead, bro.
I mean, we've got players like Kudus. Yeah, he's in form, but he's not in better form than Salah this season. I'm sorry, but come on. Statistically wise, he's not in better form than Salah. Salah has a point to prove in AFCON. He lost the last final, and this is probably one of his last peak years at being at the highest level. I mean, but hey, let's never forget about Cameroon though. Son of Boubacar. Listen, that man. Listen, hey, he was the best player in the 20. He was the best player in the Africa World Cup.
What club does that man play for, bro?
Besiktas. Besiktas.
How many Besiktas games have you watched this year?
A couple.
0. Don't lie to the people out there.
There's one thing I know about him. Every time he plays with Cameroon, he always turns up. He always turns up. Like he did in the World Cup. He scored 3 goals in the World Cup, and then they got disqualified. And he scored. I think he should have won that best goal of the tournament with that chip, that lob that he did. Every tournament he plays for Cameroon, he's always the best player. He's always the best player for Cameroon. So I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you gotta stick by him.
That says a lot about Cameroon. But Cliff, go ahead, bro. Yeah, Cliff, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say Osimhen, but I don't think Osimhen's been playing up to his level from last season.
It's okay.
If Boniface was there, I would say him. But I gotta give it to Salah. And I would appreciate, I appreciate the Kudus shout, but Ghana, I don't see Ghana being being a good team in this
They're
round.
not.
And if they don't make it too far, we've seen how the narratives get drawn around like the players that actually win the tournament, like, Salah and Mane were a few years ago. So I would give it to Salah because, Mane is not in the top stage right now. So, and Salah is firing on all cylinders. So I got to give it to him, just being realistic. But yeah, Osimhen, try hardest.
Look how you played our country. Man, the answer is between Osimhen, the reigning African Player of the Year, and Salah. And I say Osimhen because when it comes to international duties, the guy has been lighting it up. Just like how you just said. He is the top scorer in CAF qualifications. He got 10 goals. He got more goals than anybody in the African Cup of Nations qualifications. He is that guy right now in terms of Nigeria. So for you to even say Boniface, I mean, I'm sorry that he got injured, but as we all know, your club play does not always resonate with your international play, and vice versa. It's sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But all I know is Osimhen has been our guy for the goals internationally. and he's been the guy for the whole CAF. So I'm gonna give it to Osimhen because he got the more goals than Salah, and then I'm gonna be lenient towards Salah as well because I feel like Egypt has a better equipped team to not only let Salah shine, but also because they're just more of a team. Like they're used to getting to this position as far as playing together, making sure Salah gets his goals, and just playing through him. So if Nigeria goes far in the tournament, just know it's gonna be because of Osimhen.
And let's give a shout to Mahrez though. He's also another clutch player.
Rest,
bro.
Clutch
player. I'm sorry, he produces for his country.
He does produce for his country.
He produces for his country.
You don't be doing nothing for real, bruh. It's like nah. He did cook that one year that I think they won it, right?
I think it was 2 tournaments ago.
Yeah,
2 tournaments ago.
We ain't heard of Mahrez since.
Yeah, he won Player of the Year that season.
We ain't heard of that brother since.
He literally just left Man City last season. What are we saying?
Yeah, name me 3 other players on that Algerian squad, bro.
What's his name again? That plays for. Nah, a couple of them I can just think off the top of my head. I know a few.
It's calm, bro. It's calm.
I mean,
we're not hearing about Algeria. We haven't heard about them in the last 2 years. We haven't literally. So, like I said, we only really gonna get to see these players shine if their team in general goes all the way to the end. So if I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at different teams, I think Egypt might go to the end. I think Senegal might go to the end if Mane and them turn up because they got some players now.
Yeah, they do have good players.
And then Morocco, obviously, they got Hakimi, they got Al Nassr. I mean, not Al Nassr. They got from Seville. They got some players as well.
Ismaili.
So
they got some players.
Huh? They got it for the tournament.
Kudos not going nowhere. They're going to be out in the group stages. So ain't really much out there. And then Ivory Coast not taking Zaha, which is ridiculous. So they're not doing anything either.
Yeah, Nigeria.
Why didn't they take him?
He had a disagreement with the European coach. We're gonna say European coach. So they left him at home. Yeah.
Yes, that's dumb.
Ridiculously dumb. But
yeah.
Hey, Ivory Coast wasn't gonna win anyways. So So I mean, with that being said, we want to wish all the players good luck in the African Cup of Nations. As you guys know, we're all African in here as well. So big ups to that tournament. Hope everybody watches it. And we're gonna end it on that good note. And we're gonna say it's been a great time. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Catch us on the next episode, and y'all have a good night.